Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Marilyn and my channel is Making with Marilyn. On my channel, I've recently expanded the content to include more embroidery. So embroidery projects as well as digitizing. Well, I'm excited because this Poolin EOC06 showed up at my house yesterday to review. Now, one of the exciting things about this machine is it has a very large hoop size. The hoop size on this goes up to 11 inches wide and 7.9 inches tall. When I opened the box, this is what it looked like. Notice you see that manual on top. There's also a quick guide or a quick start guide on top. Last night, I read this manual from cover to cover. I even added some sticky notes and took some notes on my own. I haven't taken anything else out, and I haven't even dug into the box to see what else is in there. Let me go ahead and move the box to the floor. We're going to see together what's in here. Now, the first thing that was on top were the hoops. And I thought I was only getting 3 hoops with this because in the manual it tells you what you're getting, or it shows you pictures of what you're getting. And it showed 3 sizes, so I thought I was just getting 3 hoops. But I have the large one, and let me see if I see the measurements. Okay, there's the dimensions, 200 millimeters by 280 millimeters. That's the one that's 11 inches wide by 7.9 inches tall, or that's the embroidery area space of it. Then I have one medium hoop. This one is 200 by 200 millimeters. And then I have 2 of this size. They are 140 millimeters by 140 millimeters. The next thing, and this was in a bag, but the bag was still kind of taped down, so this just slid right out of the bag. This is the stand that you're going to add to the embroidery machine to hold your large projects up. Now we have some grids, and you can use these if you want to inside your hoop to make sure your design is where it needs to be, or to center your design the way you want it centered. Some additional things that came in the box. We have a thread stand. Now you do have to put this together. But I have heard people just swear by these. It's an optional accessory that you put behind your machine. You can hold 3 cones on this, and people do say they help your machine stitch better. We're going to start out without it so we can see how the machine stitches right out of the box. It also came with 100 sheets of tearaway embroidery stabilizer. These are pre-cut at 9 by 9. Next, we have some optional clips that you can put on your embroidery hoops. So the inside of one of the smallest hoops came with these already installed, but none of the others did. So I'm going to see if I even need them. Let me know if you've used something like this before and if you like the clips. Now we have this little bag of accessories and tools. Let's just see what's in here. We have some little applique scissors, and I love that they're pink. We have some tweezers. We have an extra bobbin case and an extra bobbin cover. We have a little brush to help you clean out the bobbin case area. And then we have a couple of little tools. We also have a cone thread cover. And then we have, let's see how many there are. I think there's 6 of these. 6 extra packages of needles. And these each have 5 needles in them. So that's a nice amount of needles to start with. The machine came with 6 cones of thread. You can obviously buy more, but it did come with these 6 colors. That is my favorite. I love that color. In addition to that, it came with a bunch of really pretty colors of pre-wound bobbins. Now my case came broken, but here's the bobbins. I typically just use white pre-wound bobbins. You can get a set of 100 for really not too much money, but if you want to use any of these, you can. And lastly, I have the machine. Now the machine is fairly heavy, and the box is so big. It was mainly awkward, so I had to have somebody carry it up the staircase for me. But as far as the machine, I can definitely lift it. It's heavy. I had a little momentum coming out, but now it seems a little heavier. So it's pretty heavy. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove all this tape and the styrofoam, get it situated the way I want to use it, and then we're going to go ahead and thread it. Before we thread the machine, there's a few things we need to do. First of all, we need to make sure that the machine is powered off. That's what the instructions said to do. I also need to make sure the presser foot is up. There's a lever in the back, so if the presser foot is down like that, you just lift the lever and that raises the presser foot. Another thing is, I need to make sure that the needle is in the up position. That's really important, and I'll explain why in a little bit. To make sure that the needle is in the up position, this gray mark should be straight up. If it's not, you can adjust it by turning this wheel. Now we're going to thread the machine. Now this part of the video was added after the fact because the video of my first time was so far away and such low quality that it really wasn't going to be helpful. We're going to start by putting a cone of thread on this spool pin. Now this has a little bit of give, but not much. After the cone of thread is on, I'm going to add the spool cap. Next, I need to put the thread through this silver piece. To do that, you put the thread behind it and then pull forward until it's in the right place. Then I'm going to pull the thread over the top of the silver piece, wrap it under it, and then back to the left. After that step, it needs to go under this plastic piece. You might have to hold it to get it around it, but it will go. Then you're going to follow the path down the right side of the orange piece and then back up the left side. Now is when it's really important that your needle is in the up position. This silver piece has to be exposed up here. If the needle's not in the up position, then this silver piece won't be there. So I'm just going to take my thread, wrap it around the back side of the silver piece to the left, and then back down to the bottom again. Now there's two things down here that we need to put the thread behind. First, we have this large silver bar. The thread's going to enter it from the right side, and I'll place a thread behind it. Then there's this little small bar right here. I'm also going to put the thread behind it by entering from the right side. Now my hands are going to be in the way, so I wanted to point those things out. So I have it behind the large bar, and now I have it behind the small bar. There is a thread assist feature on this machine, but I don't like those things because I am not good at using those things. So I'm going to thread the needle the good old-fashioned way. Now we're going to change out the bobbin. This machine came with a bobbin already installed in it, but the instructions in the manual did say remove that bobbin and put a different one in. I also saw a lady on YouTube say she tried to use the bobbin that came with it and it didn't work well, and when she changed it out, it was fine. We need to get the bobbin cover off. And to do that, you just slide this little piece here to the right. When you do that, part of that lid pops up and you can just take it off. So we'll go ahead and remove this one. Then we're going to drop our new pre-wound bobbin in. Now I got this in a box of 144. They're just white pre-wound bobbins. Notice before I do that though, you see this little silver piece that sticks up? Once I put the bobbin in, the thread's going to have to go under that. So we're going to put that in, grab the thread, and then I need to make sure it goes under that. So that my hands aren't in the way, I'll just use this. Then there's a path that you follow. So it shows an arrow going up this way, around, and then you pull it in here and it cuts the thread. Now that that's done, let's just go ahead and put this back on. I've been playing with this machine, doing some practice stitches and such, and so I'm ready to go ahead and do a project. I'm going to try to do a patch on this black felt. Now, I have really enjoyed doing projects where I put a thin interfacing on the back. This is a fusible interfacing. And whether I'm using cotton or I'm using the felt or other fabrics, I really like the stability that this adds. So I'm going to have this fusible interfacing on there, and then I'm also going to use some cutaway stabilizer. So let's go ahead and open up the frame. You unscrew this thumb screw here, and that loosens it up. I'm going to put my stabilizer on first, and then I'm going to put my felt on. And I want to try to come down some so that after I do this project, I have enough space down here as well. I may have to float it, but I think I'll have enough space left. Now this felt is a little bit narrow. No, I think it's going to be fine. I just needed to move it over a little bit. This is pretty thick, so I'll probably have to loosen the thumb screw some more. But on this inner piece, I'm looking for a little triangle. Here it is. That triangle shows that that is the upside. So let's see if I can get this in. All right, I can tell it's too tight. I'll loosen this thumb screw a little bit. And a little bit more. All right, I think I'm close. There we go. Now let's go ahead and tighten it back up. So just screw this in until there's quite a bit of resistance. And then I'll show you something on the end of this, but let me just hand tighten this first of all. If you want to use a flathead screwdriver, you can even tighten it more. But honestly, I think I get it tight enough. I've already been playing around with the machine, but I wanted to turn it off so that you see what it looks like when it comes on. Let me turn it on. The power button is over to the right. It's just a little toggle switch. You see a tip came up. It says, the embroidery frame unit guide will move. Please remove the frame. I don't have a frame on it, so I'll go ahead and say okay. There's 3 parts to the process here. We have pattern selection, configuration, and embroidery. In the pattern tab, I'm going to click on USB patterns because that's where mine is. I took it from the computer to here. So it's on that little thumb drive. It's right here. I'll click on it and it adds it to the screen. It's showing me the number of stitches. There's over 11,000 stitches, and it's showing that there's 6 different steps. Next, we're going to hit config for configuration. It shows all the colors. Now, I'm not necessarily going to use these exact colors. I just want to try this machine out on felt. Let's click on frame, and it is showing me the small frame. So let me put that on. Putting the frame on is really easy. Now, I have a camera in the way, so it's not going to be as easy, but it really is easy. I'm going to lift the presser foot. It is in the up position, but you can pull it up even farther so that you get your frames on. Then we have 2 little holes here. I'm going to line those up with the pins, and then I'm going to pull this to the unlock position. Sorry, I bumped the camera. And then it just clicks into place. Now let's go to embroidery. There's nothing I need to do here. I have a speed of 500, and I have my tension set to 6. I adjusted it from the default of 18. At least mine came at 18. I adjusted it after doing a few little stitch patterns. Now there's one more thing I want to show you, and this was really important, and I didn't see this in the manual. If you click right here and then go to parameter settings, this is where I made the speed 500. I put the thread trimming mode on auto. I have buzzer switch on, thread break detection on, lighting on, and this was a huge one right here. It started with a huge number, so it wasn't going to trim many jump stitches. They had to be very long. So I moved it down to the minimum of 5 millimeters. On the second page is where I changed my default tension, and then you can adjust the brightness of the screen. So I'll just click on back and go back over here to embroidery. I can say ready. Now you can't see the screen anymore, but it does say go ahead and put the presser foot down. Then I can press start. Now the screen is saying use the trim function and change your thread color. I'm going to trim it, but I'm not going to change the thread color. To trim it, you push right here. I'm also going to snip away this excess thread. I am really happy with how the Poolin stitched out this design. I do see just a tiny bit of white on the front side below the upper part of the border stitch here, so I could possibly have a slight tension issue that I need to adjust, but let's look at the back side. This actually looks really good. All in all, I'm thrilled with how this project went, and I look forward to using the machine some more to see what I can do with it. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you in the next video.